Hey, welcome back to the Mr. Excel Netcast. I'm Bill Jump.
Basically, you start out with massive amounts of data. You say, how are we going to analyze this? Well, let's fire up a pivot table and see if we can solve this problem.
Hey, welcome back to the Mr. Excel Netcast. I'm Bill Jelen. Well, okay, last week we talked about VLOOKUPs. This week I'm going to spend a couple of days talking about this next topic. And I was having lunch with someone from Microsoft last week, and we were talking about pivot tables, of course. I mean, what else would you talk about when you're having lunch with someone from Microsoft? And he said internally at Microsoft, they see a lot of people using GetPivotData reports. And I said, well, wait a second. I see people from around the country all the time. I'm doing Excel seminars, and I've done these seminars for thousands and thousands of people. And all the time, I get the question, how do you turn off GetPivotData? I've only had one person who actually had embraced it, who said, that's a cool feature. I said, so the people at Microsoft are using this all the time? And he says, yeah. He says, it's funny. We see the same thing. When we're outside of Microsoft, the only question we get is, how do we turn off that stupid feature? But inside of Microsoft, people are using it all the time. So I asked him to tell me more about that. Let's just, first of all, talk about GetPivotData and why it's annoying for 99.9% of the people outside of Microsoft. So we create a pivot table, insert pivot table, click OK, and I'm just going to build an ugly pivot table here. I'm going to choose a bunch of different fields: region, product, date, customer. Oh, what the heck? Let's just include everything. I'm even going to go to the date field and group that up so I have months, quarters, and years. And so, I just have this big, ugly, horrible pivot table. And even if I try and format it, it's never going to format, exactly. I mean, no one's going to give this to their manager or, use it in a presentation. It's ugly, right? Just flat out ugly. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about GetPivotData. So you come outside of the pivot table and you build a little formula here, equal this times 2. And okay, so we get 5082. I copy that down, and that formula doesn't work. And when we go back and see what's going on, we see that they did something here called a GetPivotData. Now this started back in Excel 2002. Anytime you use the mouse or the arrow keys to build a formula, they're going to insert GetPivotData. Luckily, in 2007, they gave us a way to turn it off. Go back to the pivot table options, and then here, don't click the options button, click the options drop down, and turn off that generate GetPivotData. So we have a way to turn it off. All right, and that's the question I get all the time. How do I turn that stupid feature off? So that's for today. Now tomorrow, we're going to come back in and understand how the folks at Microsoft leverage GetPivotData, and it's actually a very, very cool idea. So thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time for another Netcast from Mr. Excel.
Well, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time for another Netcast from Mr. Excel.